Joe, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Inspira has developed a unique technology which could drastically reduce and even prevent patients' dependence on invasive mechanical ventilation. Talk to us about this technology, Joe, and the concept behind it.
We are shooting for the stars to unlock the dependency on invasive mechanical ventilation. Our technology is designed as a new intent of use for acute respiratory failure patients, targeting to treat them while they are awake, as opposed to shutting down the sick lungs and placing the patient in a state of induced coma. We bypass the sick lungs and oxygenate the blood directly, boosting the patient's oxygen saturation levels in just minutes. Now, what does this mean for the sick patient, Dave? There could be an alternative to invasive mechanical ventilation, an alternative to intubation, to coma, and the potential associated risks. And now, what does this mean for the healthcare spending? There is a potential saving of billions of dollars.
So we're clear, Joe, your technology bypasses the lungs and it's oxygenating the blood. Why is that important? Why is that better than what we use today?
When a patient has acute respiratory failure, the lungs themselves are very, very sick. The world has always thought that if the lung is sick, then life support is the only answer. Let's just replace the lung with the invasive mechanical ventilator. Now, we need to know the sick lung has limitations. For example, with COVID-19, what actually happens is that the lung walls may get blocked. So with invasive mechanical ventilation, the doctors may need to apply even more pressure to force the oxygen into the bloodstream. Now, when you apply more air pressure into the lungs, there is a much greater chance of causing lung injury. It's just like cracks or stretch marks in a balloon that you're trying to inflate. It sounds scary, but it's quite common. Our approach is different. Our approach is to support the sick lung, not to replace it. And why, Dave, are we not trying to save the patient? So why are we inducing intubation, coma, and connecting to invasive mechanical ventilators that only just add risks, that potentially add complications to the patient that we are trying to save? It is time to change the mindset. New technologies like the art may allow us to think differently, to adopt new approaches that can provide emergency treatments without the reliance on invasive mechanical ventilation.
Joe, you have two systems. You have the EXLA system and the ARCH system. What's the difference between the two systems?
The ECLS is a type of extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, commonly known as ECMO. And this is used as a salvation treatment, a last resort treatment. When everything has failed, doctors may choose to follow this type of treatment. On the other hand, the ARCH is a new line of treatment, a potential revolution for the acute respiratory care market. It uses blood oxygenation at a very early stage to boost a patient's oxygen saturation levels in just minutes. Now, this solution is intended to prevent the need for a patient to be placed on invasive mechanical ventilation treatment.
Joe, Inspira has strategic agreements for the deployment of the ARCH system in Europe and the U.S. Talk to us about the value of those agreements and the opportunities they present.
So to date, Inspira has signed several distribution agreements targeting up to $400 million in revenue over a 7-year period. Now, of course, these are subject to the completion of development and retaining regulatory approvals for the ARCH system. So together with the distributors, we are targeting to develop our relationships with both hospitals and the medical industry generally, as well as to expedite the future deployment and driving of sales.
What is the timeline to commercialization?
So for the ECLS, which is known as the salvation treatment, we will already in the first half of next year be submitting the product for an FDA regulatory approval process. In a sense, the expected Class 2 510(k) regulatory process is not expected to require human studies. In addition, in the second half of next year, we are planning either a de novo or a PMA application to the FDA for the game-changing ARCH system. This regulatory process will, of course, require clinical studies in selected sites.
So worldwide, about 20 million people a year use these mechanical ventilation devices. So how big is the market opportunity for your two devices?
We believe that Inspira has a multi-billion-dollar market opportunity. And as we move to penetrate and increase market adoption, I think that we'll be able to take over more and more of this market segment. We are the new guys in town. For the ACLS, we plan to show the current market a preview of our capabilities. And with the ART, we are targeting to lead the market trend with a new technology.
Let's talk about, again, some of the competitive advantages over mechanical ventilation suppliers like, say, GE Healthcare, Hamilton Medical, RedMed. So our viewers understand this is potentially a game changer for the industry. It's a revolutionary product. Again, what are the key differences in existing technology for mechanical ventilation?
These are big, mega companies that you have pointed out, and they are aware of us and of our progress. Tell me, Dave, if you, God forbid, had acute respiratory failure, would you want to be intubated, placed into a coma, and having a mechanical ventilator, this invasive machine breathing for you? Would you rather be awake and be treated by new technology that bypasses the very sick lung that we're trying to treat? Dave, sadly, the risks and the outcomes from invasive mechanical ventilation are just so well known to many.
Joe, you have some world-renowned people on your scientific board. Who are some of the key players?
So as you know, we have several highly respected, world-renowned medical physicians who have joined our scientific advisory board. For example, this includes Professor Brody, who is the president of the Extracorporeal Life Support Organization, or better known as ELSA. He is also the head of the ECMO network. Now, Inspira has leading experts both on its boards and on the Inspira team.
I want to sum up today. What's the key value proposition for investors? I know you've got some big milestones for 22 and 23. In this market, the stock has come down significantly. It has been as high as $9. So in my mind, you're very undervalued given the fact that you have a technology that can change an entire industry. How would you say that to investors today?
Dave, you are 100% right. Inspira could impact and change the medical industry. We have the opportunity to potentially help millions of people every year. We have the potential to extend treatment beyond ICUs and save billions of dollars every year. As a company, we have built a very strong management team and hired experts in their respective fields. We have a strong cash balance of $21.7 million as of March 31st, 2022, having spent just $2 million in the first quarter of this year. We have already achieved several conditional distribution agreements targeting $400 million in sales. We have leading medical experts who have joined the company and the scientific board. We also have an independent board with a chairman with multiple well-known industry exits to his name. I believe that investors with a good eye make great investments.
You're right. Anytime I see a company that has a market cap below their cash position, I take a close look at. Any sort of key milestone or development with this company could perpetuate a good movement in the stock. Again, you're down from $9. So I like the company a lot. It's great to have you as a client. Joe, have a great weekend.
It's a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you next time.